Supers games. If you don't believe me, go back and look at our catalog, GameGeeksRPG.com. Go take a look. I review a lot of Supers games. Hearts and Souls, Truth and Justice, The Authority, they're all there. Today we're reviewing the new Mutants and Masterminds line. Now, I kind of have to juggle a little bit here of how some of these were provided just because of, well, I just do. The player's guide was provided by me. I bought it. So there. The GM's guide and the screen here was provided through the Ennies Awards, and I'm reviewing them as an Ennies judge. I think that covers all of them. Some of this you've seen before in the DC Adventures role-playing game that we reviewed some time ago. Again, go back and take a look. Mutants and Masterminds Third Edition, it is obviously an evolution of Mutants and Masterminds 1 and 2. 1 and 2 were D20 products, meaning that they were originated from the D20 line, which first saw the light of day in Dungeons & Dragons 3rd Edition. They were considerably different from Dungeons & Dragons, though. They've always been their own entity. With 2nd Edition, you could still see some of the connection to Dungeons & Dragons. I won't lie. It was there. You could see it. With 3rd Edition, you can see iteratively with every evolution how they're moving away further and further from its origins. And each iteration is, in my opinion, a real improvement. So with 3rd Edition, one of the things they've done is they've gone away from the standard 6 attributes that if you've been doing this hobby for a while, you know, strength, dex, con, intelligence, wisdom, charisma, unless you're really, really old like me, and then you know it's strength, intelligence, wisdom, dexterity, constitution, charisma, because, let's face it, that's how Gygax printed it. Now, what you've got are strength and stamina, agility and dexterity, fighting, intellect, awareness, and presence. A lot of these are just different words that we've used the same meanings for over the years. If there's anything that Dungeons & Dragons has, or role-playing in general has taught me, is it's 50 different words for nimbleness. And if you're not paying attention, dexterity, alacrity, agility, they're all there. Go read. Go read a book. Anyway, so let's face it, we're in here for a Supers game. What are you in for here? Powers. Let's get to the powers section. Realistically, powers come down into two things. They are your advantages, which are what we used to call feats, won't lie, and they are in your powers. The advantages are less flexible than the powers are, but they're pretty straightforward. These are where your characters like a Green Arrow, a Batman, a Black Canary without the scream. The powers section of this is where the real flexibility lies. What you can do is the powers each have effects, so it is an effect-based system. In fact, if there's any criticism I have to level here, that's what it is, and that's just personally because I find effects-based system difficult to wrap my brain around. I think because I was brought up on the original TSR's Marvel superhero game, where it was fire control, or plasma control, or ice control, not damage ranged fire. They all work, it's just how you approach it. I've been pretty able to wrap my old and flexible brain around this system though. And so what it does is there are enough power levels, there are enough extras that you can add on to modify your powers or limitations that it really gives you a near infinite spectra of stuff you can do where you could have an entire party of energy controllers, and if you all make different choices, they're all going to look very, very different. There are a batch of pre-made characters in here that follow basic archetypes that most comic characters are or that people like to play. Battle Suit, Construct for your Vision or your Golem types, the Crime Fighter, Energy Controller, Gadgeteer, Martial Artist, Mimic. You've got things like the Mystic, the Paragon, the Powerhouse, the Psychic, Shapeshifters, Speedsters, Totems, Weapon Masters, Warriors, etc. Gives you how to build all these, the base rules, damage system. One of the things I like is they make everything very clear to you here, and if there's an important thing to note, they increase the font by like 2 inches and put it in a different color, like damage class plus 15. Bam, there it is. For those of us that are old and kind of dim. and have trouble remembering these things. Shift from the player's guide to the game master's guide. A friend of mine asked me, do you really need this if you're going to run the game? As much as you need any supplement outside of a core book, maybe. But one of the things I really dug about this was it kind of broke down some of the history of supers. If you've been paying attention or you have almost any other supers game, they've done something pretty similar. But then it gives you a bunch of different enemy types that you can run into. Assassin, imp, crime lord. The imp is my favorite because it's got this picture of this like little pink bunny. And you can just see this pink bunny really being a pain in the ass. But anyway, Mixelplick anyone? So from there, it goes into how to use some of the enemies. It gives you some of the typical situations your supers might be in, different types of campaigns. So are you necessarily I fight crime, or do you observe things on a broader canvas, i.e. ultimates or authority? My personal favorite piece of this is in the very back. It actually gives you some maps of villain hideouts that could pretty easily be turned into superhero bases if you wanted them to. Amusement park, deluxe exclusive townhouses, hidden temples with traps included, the island base. Tell me the island base doesn't scream Young Justice to you and you're not paying attention. One of the criticisms I get is, yeah, but do you really like the game? I do. I really, really do. I'm extremely close to running a supers game with this right now. The only thing holding me back is I want to get my summer crew lined up about who's going to be there and exactly what I want the tone and theme to be. Now, final piece of this, the GM screen and the kit that came with it. The GM screen is about what you'd expect. I like the fact that it's a low aspect GM screen. That way it doesn't get knocked over as easy when your players start throwing crap at you because you've just screwed them over. Nice 3-panel art. And on the inside is all the charts you could ever possibly need and a couple more. I'm a fan. I'm a big fan of this screen. The kit is what makes this screen rock on toast. This kit is worth the price of admission alone. This kit is worth buying the PDF of this. Okay, you've got this. You can insert it into one of those modular screens that everybody has these days. This kit is all kinds of sexy because what this does is it doesn't give you more advice. You get that in the GM's guide. It doesn't give you an adventure. Okay. What it gives you are probably as close to an infinite number of options for character generation as you could ever see. What do I mean by that? Well, what you do is, let's say you want to play the battle suit. I want to be the Iron Man of the group. All right, roll a d20. Why? Just do it. All right, 17. Well, you have a military background. That determines your abilities, your strength, your stamina, etc. You keep doing this, and you randomly generate what your background is, your advantages, the things you know, what your powers are, all within the balance of the point system that for the PL level 10, which is the baseline game for this particular line. All within that power level, but all these different options that you can stick in as you choose. And they tell you up front, you don't have to do this randomly. You can do it either like real random, and then you can get some whacked out combinations, which I've done, which, okay, not necessarily a bad thing. Or you can kind of go semi-random, or you can be a diabolical mastermind and pick each one yourself to get just the kind of character you like. What it does is it diversifies the archetype seen in the player's guide by a factorial, by opening it up to an almost infinite number of options. So you no longer, if you're the powerhouse, you're no longer it's clobbering time or Hulk smash. You're now, how did you get your powers? What is your background? Almost what's your motivation? The only ones they kind of warn you about from the outset are the mimic, the summoner, and the shapeshifter. That you kind of have to know a lot about the rules to make those characters work well. But a paragon? No problem. Warrior from Atlantis? Piece of cake. A paraplegic guy who built his battlesuit to help him walk and discovered that he can also fly and have plasma blasts? There you go. All of these are options that are available to you. This may be one of my favorite things I have ever seen. because what it did was it just deconstructed the character generation system for me, so I could put it back together in my head. And it tells you, move stuff around. If you find some of the way they've done psychics too limiting, piece together these different power stunts. As long as you have this balance, which they give you, then it all stays within the same power level, and it works. So you're no longer just a telepath. You can be a telepath and a backup telekinetic, or vice versa. Or you can be like poor Psylocke, and they change your powers every week. All that matters is that you're a hot ninja chick. I miss British Psylocke, I really do. The Mutants and Masterminds 3 line, outstanding work, great supers game. I'm a big fan, especially when you get into the GM screen, and more importantly, this Game Master's kit, because damn. Have a good day and go roll some dice.